This meeting is being recorded. Now is the time. Now is the time to know that all that you do is sacred. Now is the time to know that all that you do is sacred. Now, why not consider a lasting truth with yourself and with God? Now is the time to understand that all your ideas of right and wrong were just a child's training wheels to be laid aside when you can finally live with veracity and love. Hafiz is a divine envoy whom the beloved has written a holy message upon. My dear, please tell me, why do you still throw sticks at your heart and at God? What is it in that sweet voice inside that incites you to fear? Now is the time for the world to know that every thought and action is sacred. This is the time for you to deeply compute the impossibility that there is anything but grace. Now is the season to know that everything you do is sacred. Now is the time to know that all that you do is sacred. I'm reading from The Gift, Poems by Hafiz, the wonderful Persian poet. My dear, please tell me, why do you still throw sticks at your heart and at God? Oh my goodness, I love these words so much. I am Reverend Twyla Reece from Unity of Merced in Merced, California. And I am so happy to be with you right now in this moment of time. We had a lovely service this morning here at Unity in Merced. We're meeting in our courtyard. And we will go back inside whenever, I guess, when it gets too hot in Merced to be able to meet outside because we are so loving being able to be in our courtyard at 305 West 26th Street here in Merced, California. We meet Sundays at 10:30. So now is the time. Now is the time for you to know that everything that you do, everything you think, everything that you feel is sacred. And the same holds true for every other person in the universe. Even though the behavior may not look very sacred sometimes, we are all still part of the same divine story. We are all a part of the divinity of God's universe, God the good, that universal life force within the universe. That is the universe. That is more than the universe. That is more than what we can even imagine or think about being. I love what Huffy says. Why do we keep throwing sticks out of at our tender hearts? And why do we keep throwing sticks at God? Which means, why are we throwing sticks anywhere in our lives that is not doing quite what we as an individual want it to be? As I was researching this talk, I came across the an article that was written by a man by Kahid Battle with not altruistic, but altruistic. It's a nonprofit in Kentucky, and they work for equity and nonviolence and inclusiveness and educating people on how to show up in the world with less hate and more love. But he wrote this article called How Are You Practicing Your Humanity? And I absolutely went, I was so attracted to that question. How are you practicing your humanity? I can see that becoming one of my guiding questions as I'm going through my day and I'm going through my life and being a part of the world. It's not always easy to stay consciously aware every moment, but we can do it more and more when we set our heart to being more of love. And isn't it easier? Haven't you found that it's easier the more you begin to come into a spiritual awareness of your own uniqueness, of your own sacredness, that you really start paying more attention to how you are behaving in the world, how you are thinking, how you are feeling, so that you can stop yourself in your tracks and go, wait a minute, how am I practicing my humanity at the moment? Am I being am I being a good human? And what does being a good human mean? For me, it means not hurting myself and not hurting other people. So take a moment and just reflect. How are you practicing your humanity? Knowing that we are all completely connected to each other, that there is no separation in life, that we are a part of thread, this thread of evolving consciousness, so to speak. That's my language for it. It's not you and me, it's not them and us, although you can certainly feel that way sometimes. But the bottom layer, that foundation, is that we are all the same, that we are all part of the integral whole. A post by Ryan Cooper says, according to quantum physics, a particle vibrating due to your sound when you speak can instantly affect a star at the edge of the universe. Did you get that? Want me to read that again? According to quantum physics, a particle vibrating due to your sound when you speak can instantly affect a star at the edge of the universe. This phenomenon is known as quantum entanglement. The greatest illusion of this universe is the illusion of separation. So you might as well get over it because you cannot be separated from anyone or anything on this planet. We are all connected. We are all one family. We are all stardust. And in the world of quantum physics, vibrations happen that quickly. So, how are you practicing your humanity? I was sharing this morning how this week I bought a new pair of sunglasses and I put them on to go for a walk. And as I was walking around the neighborhood, I noticed the sky, and the sky was so vibrant and so deeply blue. And then I noticed the leaves on the trees and the greens. Oh my gosh, the vibrancy of the green. It was it was both beautiful and calming all at the same time. And at first I'm going, what is going on in the world? Why are things looking like this? And then I remembered that I had on a new pair of sunglasses. So I was looking through a different lens. What kind of lens are you looking through? What kind of lens are you looking out of to the world? Do you need a new pair of sunglasses? Do you need a new perspective, a different perspective? Perhaps. If you're finding yourself being more negative and more of a downer than what you want to be, if you're finding yourself being more pessimistic than optimistic, then perhaps you need a change of view. You need a change of perspective. You need to put on a different pair of glasses. Now, for some of you that may be gone, well, yeah, but sometimes the world can look a little dark. Sometimes the world is not going the way that you and I and we who live from a place of absolute love would prefer it to be. There is evidence of a lot of anger and hatred right now, um, more so than any time in my life, I believe. And, I lived through the Vietnam era as a teenager. I have seen quite quite a bit of darkness. And yet here we are again in this time of great division in our world. And even with the division, even with what looks like darkness to me, underneath that is still light. Underneath all of that is the universal love. Everything is an illusion on planet Earth. We are told over and over again in sacred text, through quantum physics, through so many teachings, that this is all an illusion. This is not real. Sometimes that's really hard to wrap your head around, right? It can be hard to wrap your mind around that. And yet, when you can take a step back and you go, okay, all right, this is what that looks like. Yes, if you pinch me, I will hurt. Those are real things. There are real people being hurt right now in our world. And yet, underlying all of that is the truth that everything is sacred. Everything is entangled. And all of the physicality that we see is a story that we are telling based on our real time physical experiences, but there is that universal love that underlies everything. There is an order to the universe. Everything is sacred. So pay attention and ask yourself, how are you practicing humanity? How do you want to practice humanity? What kind of lens do you want to look at, through the world? What kind of lens do you want to look through to your own heart, to your own behaviors? Send love. Send love, send love, send love. Choice and responsibility are ours. We certainly get to choose how we practice our humanity. Now is the time. Now is the time to know that all that you do is sacred. So why not consider a lasting truce with God? A lasting truce with yourself and with God. A lasting truce with yourself and with good. Now is the time to understand that all your ideas of right and wrong were just a child's training wheels to be laid aside when you can finally live with veracity and with love. My dear, please tell me, why do you still throw sticks at your heart and at God? What is it in that sweet voice inside that incites you to fear? Now is the time for the world to know that every thought and action is sacred. This is the time for you to deeply compute the impossibility that there is anything but grace and love. Now is the season to know that everything you do is sacred. And know that the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, and the presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is truly love. See you soon. Bye for now.